Hey guys, this is Dennis, the founder of Think Hero.
And I'm David Griffin, your resident comic book and video game guru.
And this is our review of Breaking Bad, Season 5, Episode 10.
Buried.
Yeah, so the episode actually starts off not where we left off, the kind of cliffhanger of the last episode, but it starts off with Jesse Pinkman.
Yes.
And that old man finding the money, and then finding him. What'd you make out of that?
I like the opening. It was cool. I mean, it's kind of following this trail of breadcrumbs almost, and sees Jesse on the carousel there, just kind of going around with this kind of crazy look in his eyes. I don't know. As part of me watching Jesse go through this almost seems like, I don't know about his transformation. It seems like it's almost too drastic because I realize that he feels guilty. You know, the kid died in front of him. Todd shot that kid. I get it. But like, he's been in the life of crime for a long time. Like, he knows this kind of stuff happens. Like, so part of me, I don't get why he's going so crazy and so weird right now. I mean, I know he has been through a lot. I get it. But I don't know. Some of it I'm like, I don't quite feel for Jesse yet. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and then, you know, at the end of the episode, we see that he's brought in. They found him with the money, you know. Now the question is, well, are they going to be able to get anything out of him, or are they be able to turn him? Because we don't know where his mental state is right now. Like,
is he trying to get caught?
Yeah, you don't know if he's trying to get caught. You don't know how loyal he may or may not be to Walt anymore. Maybe he wants to turn on him, or maybe he wants to say something. My guess is maybe he feels guilty, but he wants to get punished in a way. But I don't think he wants to take Walt down with him. I have a feeling that it's his own thing. Like, he's saying, I feel guilty for this, so I need to be punished. Like, if Walt doesn't feel guilty, that's his deal, you know?
Right, I agree. I can't see him just start like crying and start saying, "Hey, well, you know, Mr. White did this and did this." Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's on self-destruction mode right now. I think like you said, I think he's trying to answer for his crimes. He's just doing it in a crazy way. He's just looks like he's on drugs, which he's not. He's actually we haven't seen him actually, you know, do that. He's just crazy right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So now we, you know, back to like Walt and Hank in the garage. The aftermath of that becomes this whole like, all right, let me call, you know, Skyler and that whole thing, and kind of brought up a lot more like paranoia for Walt, because he couldn't get a hold of Skyler.
And immediately assumed that she was spilling her guts, which she wasn't. She was actually, Skyler kind of impressed me in this episode.
Yeah.
She was tough. I mean, in the end, she's like, look, we're not turning ourselves in. This is not going to happen. You know, it's going to make us look more guilty. I mean, she was tough this episode. She stood strong. I mean, she went kind of crazy in the restaurant, being like, "Am I under arrest?" You know, that whole rant. But she was tough this episode. I liked her.
Well, yeah, because she didn't know what was going on. You know, she still feels loyalty to Walt, and also she doesn't know what Hank actually can prove.
Right.
Like, she knows that Hank knows, but at the same time, she's like, well, is he trying to like get me thrown in jail as well? And what about their kids? And so she's kind of thinking of like the whole picture. So yeah, she did impress me. I mean, this is a character that, you know, through the seasons I've always said, and I kind of find her annoying sometimes, you know.
Right, yep.
But in this episode, I found her like, it's weird because it's like she's protecting her like criminal husband, but at the same time, it's like I'm you know, I like her character more for it.
Right. I mean, we also saw more about Skyler realize that Hank he's on revenge.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just, you know, possessed with all his like anger and frustration. He wants to go after Walt. He wants to take him down with everything he has. I mean, even, you know, Hank was talking to his wife, you know, Skylar's sister, and just saying like, look, maybe we shouldn't go in right now. It'll be a laughing stock. She's like, yeah, but if you don't go in, it'll be worse later on. And his mind's just not in the right place. He's going at this from completely a state of revenge, not, oh, this is the right thing to do as a police officer.
Well, he's embarrassed.
Yeah.
He's embarrassed
He's
that
angry.
this, you know, this whole thing has been right under his nose.
Because he always used to pick on Walt all the time. Remember in the first couple of seasons, he's always like, yeah, Walt doing this, like not the tough guy.
Yeah.
Now Walt has everybody scared. I mean, skipping ahead a little bit, I love this scene with what's his name, Saul's bodyguard, and they're laying on the money, doing the whole Scrooge McDuck thing. And I love that they were scared to take the money. They're like, hey,
they were worried.
They're worried like that dude killed all those guys in prison within like 20 minutes. I mean, he has a reputation now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that reputation. It's like the myth, the legend. It's like Kaiser Soze and Usual Suspects.
Right.
It's like becomes this thing that he's not. I mean, he is a criminal, but I mean, he's not that hardcore.
No.
But they're so scared that they're not even going to take the money.
Right.
But I mean, they're going to get paid anyways. And then Walt goes and buries all that stuff. I did think it was interesting though, because he couldn't get a hold of Skyler, and then Skyler tried to contact him, and Saul wouldn't let him answer the phone, and so she started getting paranoid about where he was and what he was doing, and he was getting paranoid that like she like turned on him and like I mean, even now like he's like still a little, kind of skeptical of Skyler,
Yeah.
He's like, remember at the end when he passes, like, just promise me you'll take the money, and I'll confess to everything as long as you take the money and keep it for the kids, So like he's kind of just figuring that that's what she wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of my favorite scenes of the episode was just him laying on the bathroom floor, just out of it, and waking up, and Skylar's kind of had a moment. I like that when they heard about the cancer and she come to the realization, okay, maybe he does. We haven't heard. I mean, we assume he does have the cancer. It's all back. I mean, we've seen everything that's been going on. She said, or he said, does that make you happy? And she's like, I haven't been happy in a long time. Like, nothing's really making me happy right now. Life sucks. But I think at that moment, even though, like you said, I don't think maybe he trusts her completely, I think they found some connection there. I think they're both at a point in life where they don't want to be. Like, they're both not happy right now.
They're both not happy, and they're both like, they don't want to suffer the consequences of their actions. Because while she is nowhere near as, guilty as Walt, she has done some things.
Yeah.
And even, like, when her sister confronted her and tried to steal her baby from her.
It clicks in every now and then. Her kleptomaniac stuff.
Yeah, well, her Skylar, the guilt and all that stuff came up, and she's trying to keep her life as it is, but to Hank and Marie, they're just like, their minds are blown. They're like, oh my God, did you know that? At first they kind of thought she was like much more innocent than they realized that she was.
I was gonna ask you because I know maybe you're not the biggest fan of her character, but what did you think of the scene with Lydia out in the desert? Of course, we see Todd comes back. Do you still kind of annoy with Lydia? Kind of want to see her go? Or do you respect her tenacious nature? I mean, what do you think about her right now?
I mean, the thing is that's just such a move on her part. It's just so like her. It's like she wants to continue on getting all this money from selling the meth. But at the same time, she doesn't want to see any of the dirty work, like the whole like covering her eye, like
like fire in the hole. It's like sorry, like Todd's like sorry about that.
Yeah, so it's just very true to her nature, which is that she's very paranoid and she always like wants to get her way, the way she went to Walt last episode, and now this time trying to get them to like change their mind about using Todd and like she's like screw it, but at the same time she doesn't want to even look at, she kind of compartmentalizes the kind of stuff that she's done.
Oh yeah, I don't think she's different. She's like she's somewhere in between, I think, Walt and Jesse and Todd. Like Walt, Jesse, and Todd, I think even Walt, as crazy as he is, has some kind of moral character. I think Jesse obviously does, super emotional guy. She's not Todd. She's not completely just cold and turned off like he is, but she doesn't care, but I think she does care. She's somewhere in between those two guys. She's an interesting character. I like her more after that scene in this episode than I did in previous episodes.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see that, how Todd and his I guess his, family are going to take over this business, supposedly, and how that plays in to Walt. We don't know how that's going to affect Walt.
Because I have a feeling that Todd likes Walt.
Yes.
I think he looked up to him, so I don't think, unless Walt does something stupid to mess something up, I think Todd is gonna be on his side. I think.
Well,
Who knows how long it's gonna last? Who knows?
I mean, this guy shot a kid, so like,
That's true.
I feel like he is on his side
Right.
until he isn't on his side,
Right,
and then.
right.
And then that'll be like kind of a cold, like cutting off, like, all right, we need to kill this guy, you know? Because even Walt was like, when Saul suggested he kill Hank,
Yeah.
he's like, no, I can't kill him. He's family,
Right.
you know? Even as all this stuff is happening.
That was a great comment. I can't remember what country was it. Belize. They were saying that the reference. They were saying, just offhanded remark about killing somebody.
Oh,
said,
yeah.
Send to Belize, and I like how I was like, I'll send you to Belize. I can't remember if that was the actual country, but yeah, it was funny.
Yeah. All right. So that's what we thought of the episode. You can post your comments below on the website, thinkhero.com.
You also find us on YouTube, on our YouTube page. It's Think Hero Pro.
And we're also on Twitter. Mine is @ThinkHero.
I'm at Griffin DE.
And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Think Hero Pro. And we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/ThinkHeroFans.